thanks for bringing another video. And a lot of people have been asking me about intermittent fasting because I've been doing it for a while now. And so in today's video I kind of want to explain what I'm doing and how it actually works and what it is. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of scientific details because there are many setups on intermittent fasting, there are many videos on intermittent fasting. So in today's video basically I'm going to explain how I personally like to set it up and how I enjoy intermittent fasting and what I think are the main benefits of intermittent fasting. And I really noticed that a lot of people think that intermittent fasting is some kind of magical diet that will suddenly melt off all the fat of your body. And unfortunately, that's not really possible, guys. In every single diet on this planet, you will have to be in a caloric deficit, alright? Even on a vegan diet. Alright, a lot of people think that vegans can eat whatever the fuck they want to lose fat. But no, it doesn't work that way. They can eat more because the foods are more filling and more volume, alright? But at the end of the day, they are still in a caloric deficit if they want to lose fat. And a caloric deficit basically means you're taking in less calories than you are burning. And so this can either be done by eating less calories or by adding cardio, or doing both, which in most situations you would include a little bit less calories and a little bit of added cardio in order to create that deficit. So in some way you will have to be in a caloric deficit. Now the beauty about intermittent fasting is basically that it's easier for you to be in this caloric deficit without feeling that you are in the caloric deficit. So intermittent fasting is actually pretty simple. It basically means that you put your food into a certain time range. And for most people this is the most popularized one by Lean Gains. And this is fasting for 16 hours per day, including sleep, and then eating in an 8-hour time range. And for me, that is usually from 2:30 until 10:30 at night. And that's my usual setup, but it obviously doesn't really matter whether I eat in those hours or 1 hour later or whatever. So every day is kind of a little bit different, but I fast for around 16 hours per day. And the reason this works so well for fat loss is because you can eat bigger meals throughout the day. Because all those meals you would eat in the morning until 2:30, you can actually eat from 2:30 until 10:30 above the calories that you were eating in those time ranges as well. Because you will be eating the same amount of calories that you usually would, but you would just put them into a smaller time range, allowing you to eat bigger meals. So it's basically that simple. You would just eat more calories within a smaller time range. And for me, that would keep me a lot more satisfied than eating very small meals. Simply said, that's also why it's so enjoyable and why it's easier for most people to diet in this way, because you will be able to eat more food within a smaller time range, allowing you to eat very big meals and not really having the feeling that you're dieting. Because you will not really be hungry throughout the day. So now you're probably thinking to yourself, alright, amazing, I will be able to eat bigger meals. But what about the whole morning? I would be fucking starving myself to death just to eat a little bit more meals throughout the day. That doesn't make any sense actually. And I would probably not even be able to fucking work because I'm so exhausted from not having any food into my system. Because we all know how bad it can be to be very hungry throughout the day. And I asked myself the same question when I started, and I was like, hell no, this is not possible, this cannot work. But for some reason you are not hungry throughout the morning, and that is because you will follow a certain approach that you will do in the morning, and that is drinking a lot of water right after you wake up. And you will notice that by drinking water, the hunger feeling will actually go away. So when you wake up, it is not actually hunger that you're having, your body craves for water. And once you start drinking water, the hunger feeling goes away, and then it usually comes back at around 11 or 12 o'clock, obviously depending on how late you woke up. But usually it comes around after 4 hours after waking, you start to get a little bit of a hungry feeling. And at that point you want to use caffeine as a strategic hunger suppressant. So for me that would be black coffee, because black coffee has health benefits as well. But you can also drink some sort of other caffeine source, or you can simply take caffeine pills as well, that is possible. And not very expensive either. So once you start using caffeine, you will not be hungry for a few more hours, seriously. So I will have 3 to 4 cups of coffee, and after that time I'm not hungry anymore, and then after a few hours the hunger feeling comes back, and then it's already 2:30 in the afternoon. And for some people this fast can be way longer. For some people they can spread it out until like 6 o'clock at night. Like, for a lot of people it's different. For me, I'm usually hungry at around 2:30, sometimes a little bit later, sometimes 4 o'clock. It kind of depends on the day and how late I woke up and things like that. So that's the usual setup, guys. And even though the first week it may be a little bit hard, or the first days, but once you get used to it, and really when you start to get hungry, just drink more water and you will notice that the hunger feeling really will go away. Or just have some more caffeine the first few days, and once you are adapted to fasting, your body will simply know that you start to eat later in the day, so you will not really get hungry anymore. And at first it kind of sounds ridiculous, skipping breakfast and shit like that, and starving yourself to death, because that's what a lot of people think it is. But no, it doesn't work that way, okay? It's very, very enjoyable. Now, what is the biggest benefit for me about fasting? First of all, being able to eat bigger meals in a smaller time range, like I said. But another very big benefit is the mental clarity in the morning. I am able to get way more work done in the morning. And this is also a thing that Greg O'Gallagher from Keto Body really promotes about intermittent fasting, is that it really boosts your mental clarity for some reason. And if you do not eat in the morning, you are able to do so much work. And usually when I start eating my first meal, I have most of my work done, all right, because I'm just so active in those mornings. And first of all, it basically sounds like a dream, and it sounds like something that is completely the opposite of what would happen if you are not eating, because a lot of people think that you will fall down and not be able to do anything when you're fasting. But it's actually the opposite, guys. And so yeah, it's very important that you drink the water and you also have the caffeine, especially the water. If you do not have the water at all, you will be probably starving to death. But when you drink a lot of water, that will not happen at all. So those are the two biggest benefits about fasting. And a lot of people claim that there are more benefits, such as increased insulin resistance, higher testosterone level, promotion of growth hormone, and things like that. But those haven't really been shown to be found in studies. And so that's not really something I would care about. All right, because studies do show that if you eat the same amount of calories and macronutrient targets per day, whether you eat a regular diet with 8 meals per day or you eat 3 real big meals in an 8-hour time range, the effects on fat loss will be exactly the same, guys. So that doesn't matter, and studies have proven that. So the biggest benefits for me and for you guys, if you want to try this out, first of all, you will be able to eat bigger meals throughout the day, leaving you more fulfilled and not really having the feeling that you're dieting, which is very important because that is the way that you're able to sustain a diet. And the second one is mental clarity in the morning, and those are really the biggest benefits of fasting. And that's kind of what my point was with this video, is to show people that intermittent fasting is not a magical diet. It will not increase fat loss or anything like that. It will simply make your life easier and more enjoyable while dieting, which is a very important factor, and which is the reason that intermittent fasting works, because they can stick to it for multiple weeks, months, and they will be able to eat in a caloric deficit even though not feeling like they're starving themselves to death, which a lot of people would on a regular diet, where you eat very small meals throughout the day, and which leaves you with not a lot of satisfaction. And on these days where you eat very small meals, you are usually not able to fit in really nice foods as well. You're not able to eat out at a restaurant, which if you fast for the majority of the day, you will be able to eat a lot of calories within one meal. So you can go to a restaurant and have fries and a steak and things like that every once in a while if you feel like it. Or you can even have a pizza and still lose fat. Right? On a regular diet, you can only have 2 slices of pizza. Like, that is way less enjoyable than having a whole pizza, right? So that's basically what I wanted to make clear with this video, that intermittent fasting is not some type of magical diet, but it can help people very, very well. And another way that you can use intermittent fasting is later on the stage where you're dieting. So let's say you're dieting for 8 weeks at first, and your calories get lower and lower. So first of all, you're just eating 6 to 8 meals a day throughout the day, and then you start implementing intermittent fasting and you start to eat less meals but bigger meals. It's easier to stick to those lower calories because you're not having the feeling that you're really making the portions smaller, right? So it will be easier to stick to your diet, and therefore that might work as well. So you can also use it as a tool to lose fat later on in your diet and to keep enjoying yourself in the process. So with that said, I think you have a broad idea of what intermittent fasting actually is. And obviously, I'm not saying that it's for everyone. I'm not saying that at all. I do not have most of my clients on intermittent fasting. Some people simply enjoy to eat smaller meals throughout the day, maybe because it fits their lifestyle a little bit better. So you always have to find out what works for you and what kind of diet you can personally stick to, because that is going to be the most effective diet. All right, this diet is not magical, but for a lot of people, this diet is easier to stick to than a regular diet, and that's why it's so effective. So if you are a person that's having issues with losing fat because you're hungry throughout the day, then definitely try it out by all means. And basically start off with a small fast. You don't have to fast for 16 hours when you start out. Simply start out with a 13-hour fast, maybe 14 hours, and then increase it over the weeks, guys. You don't have to jump in it directly because it doesn't all matter that much. The 16-hour is not a magical time range or anything like that. So simply do what fits your schedule, and you can basically adjust it to your liking. So if you guys have any more questions about this topic, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, because I'm definitely going to make more videos about intermittent fasting in the future, because I cannot really cover everything within one video. So let me know your questions in the comments down below. Like the video if you like the video, comment and subscribe. Peace out. See you in the next video.